In talking now about wide area networks, it really is not feasible to run a cable from Seattle to Denver. It could be done, I suppose, but not very economically done. So what we would do would be to lease lines from other companies, such as the telephone company. So here in Seattle, the Seattle telephone office would run a dedicated line to this office, and then the Denver telephone company would run a dedicated line to that office. And then they would plug those switches in. You know, in the old telephone operators, you'd have those plugs and a plug board, and you'd plug that in there, and that would create a line, a dedicated line from one point to another. And so they had this always on line where they could communicate across these two offices here. These were called digital subscriber lines, and a single digital subscriber line, or I should say digital subscriber line 0, is really only for voice signals, but there was a higher grade one that was a DS1 line, and that could carry up to 1.544 megabits per second, which was fast in that day. These were also called T1 lines. What the T stands for, nobody really knows that I can find out. I've tried to research it. Some people say they know, and then other people disagree with them. So we don't know. The T3 line is a bundle of 28 T1 lines, so it can get 44.736 megabits per second. Over in Europe, they had slightly different meanings. So DS1 was an E1, probably stood for Europe or European, and could go 2.048 and E3 at 34.368. There are two of these that you should remember: T1 1.544 and T3 44.736. And that's just because they are common knowledge in the networking field, and if you want to be able to converse in a technical way to other networking experts, you really need to know some of the common numbers and common pieces of knowledge like this. So it is a good idea to memorize those. They show up on certification tests and other tests quite frequently as well.